Welcome to the Tennessee Performing Arts Center's Inside Out podcast. Today, my colleague Nivedhan Singh interviews Nashville Repertory Theatre's artistic director, Micah-Shane Brewer, about their new adaptation of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. I'm Kristen Horsley with TPAC Education and Community Engagement. We want to thank Nissan, our TPAC Education sponsor, and our Inside Out sponsor, Vanderbilt University.
Welcome, everybody. My name is Nivedhan Singh from TPAC's Education and Community Engagement Department, and today I have the pleasure of sitting down with Micah-Shane Brewer, the Artistic Director of Nashville Repertory Theatre. Micah-Shane, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me. I'm so happy to talk with you.
Micah-Shane, could you start by introducing yourself and sharing a bit about your role as the Artistic Director at Nashville Rep?
Certainly. I'm Micah-Shane Brewer. I am the artistic director. I've been with Nashville Rep for 3 seasons now. This is my 3rd season. And, the artistic director is in charge of the artistic programming of the organization. So along with directing 2 or 3 shows during the season, I also select the season and I cast the shows. But beyond our main stage programming, we do a number of programs. We have our Ingram New Works project, which fosters the creation of new plays. We do projects called Rep Alouds, which are readings of plays that we want to have conversations about, and other programming throughout the year. We have some educational programs that I am connected with as well. So there's lots to do at the Rep. We're really excited. The Christmas Carol is our 2nd show of the main stage season. And we are currently planning our 40th anniversary season, which begins in the fall of 24. So lots to do and a lot of fun happening at the Rep. I'm just excited to see all the things that are going on and the excitement and enthusiasm we have around theater here in Nashville. And obviously we're here to talk about Christmas Carol, but there's a lot more going on right now. We're working on plans for Indecent, which is in February. We're in designer meetings for Color Purple, which is in April. So there's never a dull moment at the Rep.
Oh my gosh, just a couple things going on, huh?
Yeah.
And 40 years, congratulations. That's really an amazing accomplishment.
Thank you so much. It's gone by quickly for sure.
Well, we are so excited to have A Christmas Carol coming to TPAC, and just wanted to start with a few questions about the production. So what inspired doing an original production of A Christmas Carol in 2023, and how does it differ from traditional adaptations?
Sure. Well, I have to say Christmas Carol is one of my favorite Christmas stories. I remember seeing it at an early age, and it just resonated with me. And along the way, I've seen countless, film and TV adaptations, many stage adaptations. I've been in a lot of Christmas carols. I've also directed a few Christmas carols. But the story itself still rings true to me. And I think the older I get, the more it resonates with me. So I wanted to program something for the holiday season that was for the entire family. I wanted something that would bring in families and friends and groups to the theater so they could experience something magical for the holidays. And Christmas Carol has always held a special place for me. So we started talking about different adaptations. I revisited a few that I had been involved in the past. I read some new adaptations as well. And I think the reason that I wanted to write a new adaptation was a lot of the scripts that I revisited, they use narration to tell the story. So the device of narration to help move the story along. And while many of them are great adaptations and the Dickensian language is beautiful, I wanted something that wasn't narrative. I wanted something that we could fully immerse ourselves into 1843 London. And so back in February, I said, I'm just going to write my own adaptation. And I spent a lot of time rereading the Dickens text and started making an outline of the different parts of the story I wanted to pull out. And it took, I don't know, about 3 months, 3 or 4 months to write the first draft. I wrote off and on. And then we had a table reading back in the summer. I was able to hear it for the first time, which was so useful. And then I just started working on some rewrites and fine tuning it. But the great thing about a new adaptation is that we can change it in the room as we're working. So it's
Sure.
still this live thing that we're working on and fine tuning. And like just even yesterday, we were in rehearsal, and there was a moment where we have a song toward the end, and it really started to feel like the end of the number or end of the show. So in just a few minutes, restructured it so that song moved to the very end. So that's what's great about working on a new adaptation, is that you have the flexibility and the liberty to really play with it, and working on some word choices. A lot of the text is from the Dickens text, but there are parts of it that are new, obviously, and little scenes here and there that maybe aren't in the Dickens text, but we kind of flesh out what happens between point A and point B. So that's been a lot of fun to explore, not only as a writer, but as a director. And once you get the cast in there and they bring these great ideas and you see it come to life, it sparks new ideas and new ways of making the story, to try to streamline the story, if you know what I mean.
Hmm.
But as far as the adaptation, Nevaeh, it's very traditional. There aren't any new twists. I mean, there are some new things in the story. Like I said, there are some holes that we feel, but the story speaks for itself. And I really wanted to create a very traditional, fully staged, full of spectacle production that we could share with Nashville audiences. So it's a traditional telling of A Christmas Carol. We don't set it in a different time or place, or we don't, we've not taken a lot of liberty at changing the characters. We've added some new characters here and there, but it's very traditional.
I really appreciate hearing that. I mean, it sounds like you're honoring that original text, but also, sometimes if that adaptation that doesn't feel perfect to you doesn't exist, I really admire the tenacity to just be like, well, I'll just write my own.
It really, I mean, I did not intend to do that. In fact, I had an adaptation that I liked, but at the end of the day, when I evaluated my connection to the script, there was something about it that really didn't resonate with me, and I felt like it tried to be too big for just the purpose of being big. I think it had like 40 characters in the show, and I mean, we have a big cast, but they play multiple roles throughout the show, and so yeah, and it was a lot of fun. I admire playwrights, and now that I have taken a stab at playwriting, I admire them even more.
I can imagine. Well, I really think it must be so fun to have the writing kind of flex and grow and breathe with the rehearsal process. And that sounds like a really exciting creative process. And speaking of the creative process, what were some key creative decisions that were made in the production so far, and particularly regarding the set and costume design, since it's such a period piece?
Sure. Well, we started talking about the show in May. So once I finished the first draft, we had our first design meeting and talked about the design elements. And I have to say, I have a fantastic production team. Some wonderful designers. Our resident scenic designer, Gary Hoff, our resident costume designer, Melissa Durman. And then we have some outside designers. Michael Barnett is our lighting designer. Mark Zuckerman is our sound designer. DJ Pike, our projections designer. And Lauren Yon, our resident props master. We spent a lot of time just trying to talk about the world of the play. And, so many of the scenes, you have the current day London, so you have the streets of London, but you have specific places like the county house and Scrooge's bedroom, and then you go back to the past. So we wanted to create a flexible world where we could go at a very quick moment into the past, or we go back into the bedroom. So Gary worked his magic and created a set that has the traditional 1800s London feel to it, with some what we call a slip stage, where a unit rolls onto the set and it becomes Scrooge's bedroom, or it rolls off and then it comes back on and it's the schoolhouse, or it's the Fred's parlor. So it's a set that is a unit set, but a lot of things come on and off and fly in and out. So there are a lot of pieces that are moving back and forth, and we have a fantastic stage management team, and they're on top of things as far as like setting the scene and making sure that we have the right pieces and the right sets at the right time. So backstage is going to be a show within itself, watching these big units roll on and off. I don't want to give too much away, but have some fantastic special effects. And with the projections as well, DJ, our projections designer, is creating this world that continues on past the physical set. So we have some beautiful projections that transport us to the past in Scrooge's life and then brings us back to the present. And then in the future, it's a totally different feel, because it is this world that is unknown and somewhat scary and mysterious. And so I don't want to give too much away, but there's some beautiful moments, and we begin tech later this week, and I'm excited to see all those elements come together. In terms of the costumes, there are over 500 different pieces of costuming.
Wow.
In this production, and a lot of it is made right in our shop. So Melissa did a beautiful job at creating these period costumes with these vibrant colors. A lot of times you think of a period piece and sometimes it'll feel very drab or very dated, but she used a beautiful color palette to make these people come to life. And there's some beautiful special costumes. All the ghost costumes are just fantastic. They're the Ghost of Christmas Future. It's just going to blow people away.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, it's an exciting. It's been an exciting production to work on, and the process has been collaborative and full of just beautiful ideas. We always have these big dreams of what we want to do with a show, and sometimes you have to rein them back because of budget or time or staff. And I think our team has done a fantastic job at being able to keep the integrity of their original ideas. Maybe we scaled this back or that back just a little bit because of budget and time, but overall the show, it's just going to be beautiful. I walked into the theater last night for the first time to see the set up, and I just get these goosebumps just to see the pieces start to come together. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be a special show for audiences, and it's a story that speaks to everyone. And I think the story humbles me, because what it says to me is that we all get a second chance. Every day we get a new chance to start over, or to change something in our lives for the better, or to help people. And I want that to resonate with audiences, that in Scrooge's moment, he gets this chance to change his life, and we all get that chance. And so that's the message that I hope that will resonate with audiences all across the board, is that we have the ability to be better people and to help each other.
Those are really powerful themes, Micah-Shane. Thanks for speaking to that. And you mentioned Scrooge, and I was wondering, how did you approach casting such iconic characters, especially Ebenezer Scrooge?
Yeah, the casting Scrooge is tricky, because if you're not careful and you get the wrong actor, that actor can play him almost like a caricature. The role of Scrooge, this miser who has lost connection with everyone in his life. He lost love. He is all about how much more money he can earn. And So it's easy to make these people these cartoons or caricatures of what you think they should be. And we had some fantastic. I mean, we all know there are some wonderful actors in Nashville, and we had some wonderful people to consider for all of the roles, but particularly for Scrooge. I wanted someone who really created this fully fledged, fully dimensional character so we could see his journey and process. And I worked with Matthew Carlton on my first show back at the Rep with Ragtime when the Rep reopened after the pandemic, and Matt was in a smaller role for that. He played Henry Ford, and he was in the ensemble, and just a delight to work with. And he's one of these actors who gives so much and is very considerate of others. And his process, watching his process, he's very diligent at considering every moment and every specific action that he does. And Matt played the father in Violet last season, and watching his process in that, I was blown away by his sensitivity and his connection. And I wanted to see what he could do with this role. And I know he's been in many different productions of A Christmas Carol throughout the years. I think he's played Marley a few times. But I think he has the gravitas, and he has the power and the connection to others to really pull this role off. We're having a great time. I mean, Matt and I, we've had a few different discussions one-on-one about the character, and he brings ideas. And that's the great thing about good actors, when they bring ideas. So it's not just the director saying, do this, do that, feel this. It's, what if I try this? And we try it, and maybe it works and maybe it doesn't. But having that collaborative relationship where you can play in the rehearsal room, and that's what Matt does so well. So Matt's great. I mean, it's a fantastic cast overall. Eric Pasto Crosby is Bob Cratchit. Jennifer Whitcomb Oliva is Mrs. Cratchit. Our ghost, Chris Sidbury, she's making her rep debut. She's a fantastic actress, playing Past. Brian Charles Rooney, who played Buddy the Elf last season, is playing Christmas Present. Brian Russell, Jacob Marley, Galen Fott and Denise Hicks are the Fezziwigs, and they play a few other characters. And I'm leaving out so many names. Ben Friesen is the Ghost of Christmas Future. It's a beautiful cast. I think we have 11 or 12 actors who are making their rep debut, which is also quite remarkable, that we're seeing new faces as well as seasoned actors back on our stage. So that's the beauty of theaters is you create these teams or these families who work together for a very short amount of time. They come together, they tell the story, and then it's over. And so everybody brings their own magic and their own connection to the story. And that's what's fun about rehearsals. I mean, the performances are great when we finally have the audiences in place, but the rehearsals, that's where we really find the magic and try things. And so I'm having fun.
Oh, it sounds like such a creative and experienced team, from cast to production. And you as the director, that is a challenging dance, balancing all those production elements and such a dynamic cast with debuting actors and experienced seasoned veterans that you're used to working with. But, speaking to the directing process, it always comes with its challenges. So were there any specific hurdles that you faced with the project so far? And conversely, have there been things that have been particularly rewarding?
To be honest, knock on wood, it's been very smooth so far. And I think that speaks to the people who are working on the show, because they take their job very seriously, and they come prepared, from actors to designers to our production team. The hurdles, I think the big thing for me was I wanted elements of music in the production. And so when I wrote the script, I had specific carols in mind that I wanted to implement in the show. And I spoke with a colleague and friend of mine, Greg Perry, who has worked on a few different shows with me in the past, and I told him I wanted to do this. And the idea that I had was, wouldn't it be great if we had actors who also played instruments? And so originally, our first idea was that every song would be accompanied by live instruments or perhaps a cappella, such as some of the carolers in the show. And as we started working on the music, we realized that there were certain moments that needed a larger sound. And I'll back up for just a moment. There were also certain moments that needed songs that we couldn't find the actual song that fit. So I had this brilliant idea. I'm being sarcastic here. I had this brilliant idea that I would just write some new songs. So, songwriting is a different challenge above playwriting. And so the opening number, I wrote some lyrics, and then when it came time to set it to music, I had difficulty setting the tune with those lyrics. And so then it became, okay, it's that, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Which comes first, the lyrics or the melody? And so then I started playing with different melodies, and that morphed into a different song. I was able to use some of the lyrics, but a lot of the lyrics got rewritten. And so we created a new opening number for the show, because I wanted to create this number that set the tone and set the mood of Christmas Eve, what it's like for the people on the street, what it's like to feel Christmas is on its way, and then introduce the character of Scrooge. Because a lot of Christmas carols, you begin with someone who comes out on stage and says, Marley was dead to begin with. And that's not the tone that I wanted to create. So I wrote this number, and then I needed another song later on in the show that, Christmas now has arrived. So I actually wrote 3 songs for the show. There's one in the beginning, there's one at the end, and then there is a blessing that the Cratchits sing at their Christmas dinner. So that was a challenge, because I don't claim to be a songwriter. I've dabbled in writing music and compositions throughout my years, but I've never shared it with anyone. So that was a little scary, but it was also super rewarding on the first music rehearsal to hear the song live for the first time, because you sing it at the piano, and I actually recorded a phone memo recording of me at the piano singing the melody and sent it to Greg, and he arranged it for the voices, and then he did some accompaniment that we have recorded. So we have a mixture of music that is live. We have some actors who play violins and guitar. We have some songs that are a cappella in the traditional style of carolers. And then we have some recorded accompaniment as well that helps us give a little bigger feel to the soundscape that we wanted to create for underscoring and supporting the voices. So that's been fun. It's been interesting. And having Greg, who's just wonderful to work with, he'll go away, and the next day he comes in with an updated arrangement or an updated recording to help us really hone in on the specific sound and the specific timing that we need for a number.
Wow, it's funny, just hearing you speak about that. It's funny that for a piece called A Christmas Carol, music isn't always the first thing I think about with this iconic story.
Right?
And to hear that that's been such a part of your process, I mean, that sounds like both a challenge and a really rewarding part of the experience. That's so cool. I'm excited about the music. I can't wait.
Well, and it was fun because when we started working on the script, I listened to a lot of old Christmas songs from the 1800s, and I found a couple that I had never heard that we implemented. There's one in a church scene. There's one at a party. There is a really cool wassail that we've arranged for the Fezziwig party that almost sounds like an Irish pub drinking song, So,
yes.
There's some fantastic variety in the music that you'll hear, all from traditional carols like God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen or Ding Dong Merrily on High, to some things that people have never heard or probably maybe haven't heard before in the past.
Wow. Well, I'm certainly really excited. It feels like it's going to be immersive and fun and just like a feast for the senses, a Christmas feast for the senses.
Absolutely. That's what we want.
How do you hope audiences will feel when they leave the theater after watching this production?
I want them to feel a sense that when you walk out of the theater, you are in the Christmas spirit and you are ready to see family and friends and do good and help others. And uh, that's what Christmas has always felt for me. Some years more so than others. And everybody is going through their own journey, their own struggles, their own challenges in life. And I want this show to be a bit of an escape, but also a challenge to us all that we can change our little corner of the world, and whether that is helping someone, helping make a donation to a food bank or to a charity, or working a food bank, or volunteering, or maybe it's more of being politically driven to be an activist, or maybe it's I don't know. It could be something different for someone, and it doesn't have to be. It's not a one size fits all thing. It's everybody has their own thing that they can do to help themselves and each other, and that's the big thing that I think we need to. Because we all know the world is a scary place at times, and I think that especially this year with so much political unrest and wars being fought in different parts of the world, I think it's a time for us to reflect on how we can help make our world a better place.
Beautiful. Can you give us a sneak peek into any future projects coming up in the near future that you're excited about?
Oh my goodness. Well, I turn around and direct Indecent. That's our next show in the season. So I have a bit of a break, but not really, because there's a lot of prep that will go into that show. And that's a fantastic production I'm super excited about. As far as next season, not really. We're tossing around titles. I don't want to say anything because I'm not sure. I will say this. We will be debuting, not debuting, that's not the right word. We will be a regional premiere of a musical that was a big hit on Broadway a few years ago.
Okay, you've piqued my interest. I'm sure you've piqued the interest of our listeners as well. Micah-Shane, how can people find out more about A Christmas Carol and get tickets, especially for group bookings and things?
Absolutely. So head on over to NashvilleRep.org, NashvilleRep.org. And the show dates and ticket link to TPAC is there on our website. Tickets they range in prices, but if you have a group, there is a group discount. So please come out and see the show. Tickets are selling really well. I'm very excited about where we are right now. Shows are December the 1st through the 17th. And I want to do a plug real quick, Nivedan, of the school shows that we're doing in conjunction with TPAC. We're super excited about that. And I think they're all sold out. Is that correct?
I think you might be right. Yeah, the education department is so excited about the engagements with our season for young people audience, and that's going to be a really great part of this show run.
I'm thrilled that we can do this with TPAC, and I was in a production of Christmas Carol years ago, and where we had school performances, and being able to do this show for students and for children. It's exciting. It's to see their faces, to see them light up, to engage with young audiences and create new theater goers. That's super important for us.
Well, thank you again, Micah-Shane, for taking the time to talk to us today. Head on over to NashvilleRep.org to get those tickets. A Christmas Carol will be in TPAC's James K. Polk Theater from December 1st through the 17th. Again, my name is Nivedan Singh of TPAC's Education and Community Engagement Department, and this has been TPAC Inside Out.
We hope you've enjoyed today's podcast. You can find all of our Inside Out podcasts at tpac.org and on your favorite podcast channels.